Hello and welcome to another Law Report with me, Kurs. It's just me today. Dante is busy having a birthday or some such. Blizzcon's just around the corner. The seemingly everlasting Sombra ARG is surely nearing its conclusion, and it seems like a good idea to get our heads around everything that has brought us to this point, and maybe what we can expect to see in the next week. By now, everyone interested in Overwatch has heard of the Sombra ARG, and if you're watching this, then it's likely you've been following along. Maybe you're one of the folks getting bored with it, but it's a new take by Blizzard on slowly bringing a new character into an IP, so props to them for that. With every new bit of info that's revealed, and quickly cracked by the fine ladies and gents in game detectives in the Sombra Discord, we get new nuggets of lore and hints at what's to come. If you want the full detail, we'd strongly recommend checking out the related wiki and Discord servers, there's links in the description below. If you're still with us, however, let's dive right in. We've only looked at Sombra in one previous video. It's the very first lore report back at the start of July, when people were still convinced that Ana and Sombra were the same person. Our trail of thought was that they were separate, and the unknown Maria Estrada on Gibraltar was a more likely candidate for Sombra. Events in the intervening few months have pretty much killed this off though. Here's everything we know so far. The ARG started on July the 12th with Ana's release, with a frame of hexadecimal numbers hidden away at the end of her Origins trailer. It then died for another week until the Ana dev video, which had a hidden QR code in it. In reality, these were effectively just a warm-up. It really kicked into life with the Summer Games trailer, with a combination of another cipher in Tracer's dash, alongside a bunch of directions scattered throughout the video. These actually led to an encrypted message that to this day, as far as we're aware, hasn't been decrypted, but following several days of silence, the theory goes that Blizzard moved us past this phase and onto the next puzzle. Next in line were a series of data-moshed images, altering the data of a media file to hide a message in the distorted image, that held further clues and breadcrumbs. The first led people to examine the achievement section on the official site, the second to an ASCII version of the skull that is now synonymous with Sombra, along with yet another little message from her. The trail again died until August the 23rd, when the first instance of Skycoder appeared. Posting a Spanish phrase with a time of 23 hours on the 23rd with a subject title of the number 23 in binary, all tied nicely with Sombra becoming Overwatch's 23rd character. After a short while, the page distorts. A new base 64 code appears, which is quickly translated into a very similar but crucially different ASCII Sombra skull. Further work was then carried out using both skulls that led to this video hosted on Blizzard CDN. While the wound immediately identifies the patient as Ana following her run-in with Widowmaker, the iconic Sombra flash in the background, and more importantly the heartbeat monitor were what we needed. These led to a moment in crime, the TV show previously seen offering awards for information on Junkrat and Roadhog. Yet more work was done, culminated in Muselk sending over a reverse-engineered message to Sombra. Once the Skycoder countdown hit 0, a moment in crime updated to a new message with a slowly increasing percentage. From August the 24th, the ARG stalled and we all waited for the percentage to reach 100. On October 18th, the transmission completed, and the site changed to simply read Upload finished, Unit Bastion E54 engaged. The next day, a new version of Overwatch was released that matched the version on the site, and it was quickly discovered that taking Bastion to any of the Sombra compromised screens on Dorado would cause him to make a bunch of strange beeps. These were of course Morse code for another cipher that led to a new site, LumeriCo.mx. Up until last night, this is where we've been spending all of our time since. Styled as a site for the LumeriCo company, including a news page stating November 1st as the opening of the power plant, a brief about page, a support phone number, and a login page. The number led to the discovery of the Take Control page on the site, which is another ciphered message in the same style as Moment in Crime page. This was the point where it seemed Sombra effectively recruited us all to assist her in her crusade to expose the corruption behind LumeriCo and its president Guillermo Portero. We've since moved through 3 distinct logins, firstly G. Flores, then into Portero himself, and finally onto Maria Jimenez, the Chief of Security. The last of these is interesting as it grants access to the admin panel. While currently this serves no purpose, with graphs individual to each of us and a disconnected terminal, this could be where we're likely to see activity on November the 1st. That was where I was planning to end this section, but last night a new Atlas news report was posted on the official site. It appears that the work Sombra has been doing has indeed begun to leak to the in-universe press, with scandal and allegations swirling around LumeriCo, and Portero in particular. Of particular interest are 3 things. Referring to Sombra as a hacker collective. Now, my opinion on this is that Sombra leaked the files and used a collective noun for her work in doing so. After all, she recruited us to assist her, so while Sombra is very much still one woman, we're effectively part of her hacker collective for this ARG. Vishkar involvement. We saw an email from Sanjay Korpal, Symmetra's controller and high-up member of Vishkar, in Portero's inbox. It seems that this was made public, and both companies now find themselves in a bit of hot water. I'm rather fond of them linking up the world like this, as previously the Symmetra Lucio storyline was very distinctly separate from everything else. 76 was right, but what's up with Los Muertos? Los Muertos in Hero look like the bad guys. They certainly behave like the bad guys, 76 believes they are, and deals with it in his typical measured and calm fashion. Sombra was always assumed to be a bad guy of sorts, due to her links with Reaper both in-game and in the old Soldiers comic. But in this they both seem to be all set about bringing down LumeriCo for the good of Mexico and the Mexican people. It'll be interesting to see what Tuesday brings. Outside of the ARG, the most important clue came from an image leaked by a Russian Overwatch group on October the 8th. Nearly every Overwatch YouTuber covered this extensively at the time, but we're naturally sceptical. The leak itself has some text about Junkenstein and his Zomnic hordes, which immediately lent it credibility, but the recent ARG developments tie in more and more with a bit about Sombra herself that we see below the artwork. The line she posted on the LumeriCo news page, "But we, Los Muertos, will not support the conclusion of his reign of corruption," fits perfectly with a line on the screenshot that reads, "She worked with a Los Muertos gang in Mexico until she attracted too much unwanted attention." This seems to put the ARG firmly in the past in terms of current in-game timelines, but that's pretty standard with all of the Overwatch lore and reveals. They're constructing the history and status of the world that we're inhabiting, not moving it forward just yet. Gibraltar and Hanamura underwent slight cosmetic changes in line with the Recall and Dragon shorts, and similarly newspapers around Dorado have been changing in recent days, along with Bastion's ARG message. If so, it's possible that post her LumeriCo crusade, Sombra then began to work for, or alongside Reaper and Talon, as seen in Old Soldiers. We have a decent idea that the timeline in that comic is one of the most recent in current canon, so that's perfectly possible. But what drove her to it? How deeply entwined with Los Muertos was and is she? It's almost certain we'll see more from them, but what? And just to throw a completely bogus theory at you, will the name Maria Estrada come back to bite us? Maria Jimenez maybe? After all, Overwatch Agents has to do something after it crumbled. Thanks for watching this episode of The Lore Report. As mentioned, we'll be following this video up with the fallout from whatever happens when the LumeriCo power plant goes live on November the 1st, and our predictions as to what we'll see from Sombra at BlizzCon and what she could possibly bring to the game. If you like this episode, please hit that like button, and if you want to see more, please subscribe. Until next time, I have been Kurz, this has been Low Mana, thanks for watching.